Hey guys, this is a video that has taken me almost 3 years to make. So today I'm going to be comparing 5 hotels in Ocean City, Maryland. We have been there 4 trips in the last 3 years and stayed at 5 different hotels. So I have stayed at all of these places myself, and each one has its own pros and cons. Some of them are really convenient. Some of them are a little louder than I expected. One of them is the one that I'm hoping to stay at the next time we go to Ocean City. So if you're not familiar with Ocean City, Maryland, it's basically like a straight north-south line along Coastal Highway, which is like the main road that runs down the center. The side on the west is the bay side. They get the beautiful sunsets. The side on the east is the ocean side. It's on the Atlantic Ocean. It gets the nice sunrises. The boardwalk runs along that side at the southern end. But there's lots of shops and restaurants and all kinds of activities and things to do all throughout the town. There's also a great bus that just runs north and south all day long, and you just pay one time and you can ride it all day. So it's really convenient to get around in the town. That's one of the reasons why I like it, because I personally don't like driving around a lot, you know, following a lot of directions. So it's very easy to just figure out where things are based on like the cross street. They're just numbered, and it's really easy to get around Ocean City. The main thing to keep in mind with this review is that we only go there during the off season. So between Memorial Day and Labor Day, you will probably not find us in Ocean City, Maryland. We will go in the springtime before Memorial Day. We'll go in the fall after Labor Day. I would even go in February or March. We've done that, just not in the last couple of years, so that's not part of this review. But we pretty much just do like low impact activities. Like mini golf is probably the peak activity we do. We love to hang out along the boardwalk. It's a little trickier again during the off season because not as much stuff is open, but that's one of our favorites. We do not set foot actually on the beach, so we're not swimming or anything, but I have been prioritizing like oceanfront views and boardwalk access. So I'm just gonna list the hotels from north to south along the strip of Ocean City, and we're going to compare them based on the room quality, the views, the amenities, the parking situation, access to the boardwalk, access to the bus, what other activities are nearby, the noise level, the pet policy, and lastly, the price. So starting from the top, the northernmost hotel is La Quinta Inn, which is around 33rd, 34th Street on Ocean Highway. It was my go-to Ocean City hotel for years. I've stayed there many times. We last stayed there in October of 2024. So I'm really not gonna get like super in-depth with the room quality score with any of these. They're all fine. They're all fine, clean, safe hotels. La Quinta, fine, clean, nothing fancy. They're not carpeted rooms. I think maybe because it's a pet-friendly hotel, it just makes it easier to clean. La Quinta has a really nice kind of subtle eucalyptus smell that I have noticed in the hallways and lobby, so like that's very nice. It just reminds me of being on vacation. So, but otherwise, like, it's fine, and they are all equivalently fine. The views, not really special at La Quinta. If your room faces the back side of the building, it faces, that's a east-facing room, so it's toward the ocean, but there's another hotel in between. So you have to kind of look around the other hotel to see a glimpse of the ocean. If you are on the front side of the building, then you're facing out to Ocean Highway. A lot of hotels call that like a city view room. So it's, you know, highway views, basically, road views. As far as amenities, La Quinta has a great continental breakfast. So they have like cereal, yogurt, bagels, of course the grill your own waffle station. They also have a restaurant. It's not part of the hotel, but there is a restaurant like right there connected to the building called Ocean 13, which is a really nice restaurant a lot of people talk about in Ocean City. And they also have an outdoor pool. I think I only visited it once, so I don't know if this was an anomaly, but it seemed like it was in an area that's kind of shaded most of the day, so it's a little chilly, a little cool out there by the pool. Parking here is really, really easy. They are normal sized parking spots. It's underground, like directly below the hotel. Again, we're there during the off season, so it's never super packed, but we never had a problem with parking or getting a parking spot or fitting into a parking spot. It's probably one of the easiest hotels for parking on this list. As far as boardwalk access, like I mentioned, you are relatively close to the beach. You're like half a block from the beach. But as far as the boardwalk, it doesn't actually start until several blocks further south from here. So I wouldn't really walk to the boardwalk. You would probably ride the bus, and that's what I have done when I stayed here. Like, we would ride the bus all the way to the southernmost end and then like walk north up the boardwalk until we were sick of walking. Now, speaking of the bus, access to the bus here is fantastic. There is actually a northbound bus stop directly in front of the hotel. Like, you walk out of the hotel and it's right there on the corner. And then to get to the southbound bus stop, you do have to cross across Ocean Highway or Coastal Highway, which is like 6 lanes of traffic, but like there are designated crosswalk spots, and this is one of those spots. Some places are not as easy to cross because you are separated by a median that you're not supposed to cross, but this is a really straight shot straight across to get the southbound bus as well. So probably one of the easiest spots for bus access. But there's also a lot really close by. So one of my favorite places for breakfast, Barn 34, is just 1 block away on 34th Street. You'll notice a lot of places in Ocean City that have numbers in the names of the restaurants refer to the numbered cross street that they sit near. And there's lots of other restaurants and little shops and things very close by at walking distance. Or like I mentioned, the bus is very convenient. And again, you're kind of like in the middle of the north-south, so anything that you might want to do is just a short bus ride away. As far as noise level, if you are on that front side that faces out to the highway, you might get a little bit of the highway traffic. If you're facing the back side, I had never really noticed anything back there, so I think it's like pretty good noise-wise. Pet policy, like I mentioned, they are a pet-friendly hotel. I don't know all the ins and outs for these of like who charges extra, but I know that pets are allowed, and they even have a little like grassy patch in the front for, you know, relieving your dogs, so you often see dogs out in the area. And finally, price. This is one of the lower priced hotels that I'm going to be mentioning. It's a really good value for what you get, especially with the breakfast spread, and like I said, the rooms are nice and it's really nice, easy access to everything. Next up is the Hyatt Place. We just stayed here in October of 2025. I actually did not vlog this vacation intentionally, so I don't have a lot of great video of it, but it does feel really nice and new and modern. I'm not sure when the main Hyatt building was built, but then also just in the last year or so, they built like a second kind of annex building that's 1 block further inland that is composed of suites, I think. So we stayed in the main building, which is right on the boardwalk, and it's around like 17th Street. So you can get like oceanfront views there. We did not. I'll talk about that in a second. But as far as like the room quality, like I said, new, modern. My one big complaint was the pillows on the bed were so soft. I felt like I laid my head down and just immediately hit the mattress, like there was no stuffing in them. The rest of the room was fine, you know, spacious, clean. One cool thing was there was Chromecast built into the TV, so we could just watch our own stuff. I think that's getting to be more and more standard at hotels and places, so you know, maybe some of the others do that as well and we just didn't realize it at the time. The one other thing I'll mention is that the like bathroom soaps and shampoos and things were in like a wall-mounted container in the shower, which I'm noticing more places doing, and I have kind of mixed feelings about it. I can talk about it another time, but La Quinta does that, and here Hyatt did it as well. So as far as the views, they have like city view rooms that again face inland or toward the highway. They have oceanfront rooms that are right, you know, parallel to the boardwalk. And then what we got for this trip was an ocean view room. So those are on the sides of the building, with, you know, with the boardwalk in perpendicular to you. And I didn't think that it would be that bad because the balconies in those rooms are actually kind of angled, and it actually was fine. So if you sort of put your chair at the narrow end of the balcony and look long ways, you do have like a pretty good straight shot of the ocean. Now, we did not really use the amenities there, so I can't vouch for how they were. I believe they have both an indoor and an outdoor pool. They have the gym. There is like a restaurant on site. You do have to pay extra for breakfast, so we didn't go in there. But one of the things in their little like guidebook was like, oh, we have this outdoor space on the 5th floor, and so we wanted to go up and check that out. And we went there, and I think we found it. Like, I think that's what it was. There was no signs like specifying where to go, so we found a space, and it was just like kind of an enclosed courtyard area on the 5th floor with like turf on the ground that was just like closed in on all sides with walls. So I don't know if that was meant to be like a pet relief area or what, but I had thought there would be like a outdoor patio or something, and that's not what that was on the 5th floor. Now, parking was a challenge. That garage was tight. Almost every parking space, they're all very narrow, and then almost all of them have some kind of concrete pillar or wall or something next to it, so there's really like no wiggle room. We lucked out by getting a spot that was next to another one, but the other side was just next to like an open, the ground sort of dropped off. So no one was parking next to us on the one side, and the other side, like, hopefully the people had plenty of room. So we actually got a really good spot, and because it was on the same side of the building as our room, we could see it from our balcony, so we could keep an eye on the car. But it was really tight in there, and you could tell people were having a hard time getting in and out. And actually, when we left, rather than like pull the car out and try to turn around, but we just backed up until we reached the entrance of the garage again and then drove out. So definitely very tight quarters in there. Boardwalk Access, like I said, it is right on the boardwalk, but weirdly, like most of the other hotels we've stayed at that are on the boardwalk, they have some sort of exit from the hotel to the boardwalk. This didn't really have that. When you went outside, you had to go around the hotel, to one side or the other, to get to the boardwalk. So from one side, you'd be like walking on the street a little bit. Around the other side, which is the way we found ourselves going, there was a little set of stairs that then took you up to the level of the shops that were on the ground floor of the hotel. And then you had to kind of like cut through the like patio space of the store basically, and like cut across some like a little rock and bush garden to actually reach the boardwalk. So it could have been more convenient. I'm not sure what was going on there exactly, but it is right on the boardwalk. Bus access was okay. To get the northbound bus, you had to go 1 block to get to Coastal Highway, and the bus stop was right in front of that second annex building with the Hyatt suites. To get a southbound bus, you do have to cross Coastal Highway, and there's not a crossing directly there. Like I mentioned, there's a median that runs along a lot of it, so you have to like go over a block to get to a crosswalk to get to where the stop is. So it's a little trickier. Luckily, it's pretty far south, but we did take a southbound bus one time, so it's fine. It's not the least convenient bus stops, I will say. As far as like nearby attractions being right on the boardwalk, there's plenty of stuff that you can walk right to. I probably wouldn't stay any further north than that along the boardwalk, because the like cool, you know, where the shops and restaurants and things are pretty much start at that area, and any further than that is just gonna be, you know, just hotels and quiet, which is great if that's what you're looking for. That's not exactly what we want, so I probably wouldn't stay any further north than that. Now, noise level, maybe we just caught it at unfortunate times, but I will say, being on the side of the building, we were facing across the street to another hotel that had a restaurant in it, and that first morning I went out to see the sunrise. I'm watching the sunrise at the beach, and there was a trash truck like directly below me for dumping out the dumpsters of the restaurant across the street, banging around for literally half an hour. I don't know what all they were doing. Maybe it takes that long to do the dumpsters, but like, it didn't stop. So it was very loud. If it wasn't that, there was like delivery trucks stopping in there. There were giant air conditioner units running. So like, it's like, these are all obviously things that need to occur for like the businesses that we want to patronize. So I get it, but like it did kind of ruin the views and vibes for me. Now this hotel was super pet friendly. Again, I don't know anything about like additional fees. I'm sure there is something, but they had like a little station near the entrance with water and disposable little bowls and a canister of dog snacks. There were lots of people staying there with dogs. We saw dogs all over the place. So definitely very pet friendly hotel for them. Price-wise, this was probably the most expensive hotel on this list, and again, it was nice, but between the price and the noise level and like that wasn't even, you know, we could have gotten an even more expensive room. Maybe it would have been less noisy, but you know, just between all of that, I will probably stay somewhere else the next time. So our next hotel is literally next door to that one, just one hotel further south, and that is the Courtyard Marriott Oceanfront. So we stayed here in October of 2024, and I have been wanting to stay there for a while because they have these beautiful blue glass balconies that face the boardwalk. They're actually all around the building, but like my dream was to stay in one of the oceanfront rooms with the beautiful blue balcony. Beautiful. And we got a view of the ocean, like on the ocean, on the boardwalk. Oh, this is perfect. And there's chairs that we could just sit out here. We don't have to go anywhere else. We could just sit out here,
sit right here
and enjoy this.
If only there was a live feed of the bands, we wouldn't even have to go down to
we don't have to see the bands. I'm happy to just sit out here. And the rooms, you know, were very nice, very comfortable, but those balconies, you end up feeling like you're in a fishbowl. I kept calling it a fishbowl because the first day or so that we were there, it was kind of midweek. There weren't a lot of other people. It was lovely. By the end of our stay, it was getting toward the weekend, more people were there, and you're all just out in your little individual fishbowls and everyone can see into each other's balcony. I think it's just the fact that they're glass on on three sides, and they don't, trying to decide how to explain it. Like most hotels that have balconies, it's like a solid bank of balconies, maybe separated by walls between rooms, but it's just like a solid thing. These are like each individual little balcony bumps out from each room. So you can all see, you know, down the whole line into everyone else's balcony. And then of course everyone on the boardwalk or outside the building can see up into everybody's balconies. It was just a very weird feeling looking into all the balconies. You could look down at the people below you. It was just very weird. So as beautiful as it looks from the outside, being in there, I did not actually enjoy it. So ever since we stayed there, anytime we're looking at a hotel, I'm like looking for pictures of the balconies to make sure there are walls between the balconies. Now that said, the oceanfront views were beautiful. Again, it's glass. There is nothing obstructing your view. It was gorgeous. I remember walking into that room and like just beelining straight to the door and being like, oh, the oceanfront we wanted. So yes, beautiful views. I will give it that. As far as amenities, I know they do have an indoor pool. I think they have a gym. They also have a restaurant in the hotel called Captain's Table, which is a really nice restaurant. It has beautiful sunset views because of the way that it faces, and food's delicious, maybe a little expensive, but I think it's one of those places that's open year round. So it's kind of like a safety thing. If you're in town and you're there at the off season, that might be a good place to check out. Parking also, I recall being easy. It's just right underground, right below the hotel. So I don't recall any challenges with the parking spots or anything there. Bus access, I would say, is one of the weak points of this hotel. I will try to put a map up on screen, but basically there is like a curving intersection right in front of the hotel. So in order for you to cross the street to get over to the northbound bus stop, which is the same bus stop that you would use if you were staying at the Hyatt, you have to actually cross like 3 intersections to get there because of how the road curves. So that's kind of a hassle. And then southbound, like I mentioned in the previous review, when you're coming from the southbound side, there's that median in the middle of the highway, so you have to like cross at a different point and walk back over. So this is probably like one of the least convenient bus stop situations. Nearby attractions, exactly the same as the previous one because they're literally right next door to each other. Again, you're on the boardwalk. You're 1 block further south than with the Hyatt, so you're a little bit closer to all those attractions, and you know, same things in the area and same things that you could ride the bus to. Noise level, I would say moderate. I mean, again, we were staying like on the oceanfront side, so right above the boardwalk. There's obviously people out on the boardwalk doing stuff, but there wasn't a lot of like noisy activities or things in the building or the surrounding buildings. Pet policy, I do not believe pets are allowed here. And then as far as price, I think this is like the second most expensive one after the Hyatt. So again, it's beautiful, but between the price and those balconies not being all they're cracked up to be, I probably would not go back to here. I would go eat at the captain's table again for sure. Next we have the Howard Johnson Plaza Oceanfront. I think there's a couple different Howard Johnsons in Ocean City, so make sure you're looking for the Howard Johnson Plaza Oceanfront. So we stayed here in May of 2025, and I think this is my favorite hotel that I have been at. First of all, room quality. The decor is all turquoise, which if you haven't picked up is my favorite color. So I loved the decor. It feels really nice and beachy and bright. Everything was clean and fine and comfortable. Like I said, all the rooms are fine. And also the balcony opens from the corner of the room. So you have to kind of like scoot along the sofa to get out the part of the door that opens. I wish they had the balcony door slide the other direction. Those are my only complaints. And the balcony itself is excellent and has walls on all sides. So that leads into my review of the views, which again, beautiful. You're right on the balcony. We stayed oceanfront, so beautiful sunrise views. Like I said, solid walls in between the balconies of the different rooms, which gave us privacy, and we spent lots of time sitting out there just watching the ocean, especially in the evenings. As far as amenities, I think they have a pool, I think they have a gym. We did not use those things. My favorite amenity is they have a door that lets you out right onto the boardwalk. So you can just exit right through the lobby and follow a little ramp, which actually has some little rocking chairs sitting on it that you could sit out, and then you're right on the boardwalk. They also do have a restaurant and or bar there at the lobby level. We did not visit that, but that's also there in the building. Parking, very easy and convenient. Garage right below the hotel, like many of the others. Boardwalk access, like I said, you can exit right through the lobby and across that little porch area with the rocking chairs, and you're right onto the boardwalk. Bus access also was great. To get the northbound bus, I think it's just like the next block over. There's a nice little bus stop with a little bench under a tree. I will say the quality of the bus stops in Ocean City varies. Some of them have full glass bus shelters. Some of them have like a little rickety bench. Some of them don't have anything. They're just out on a street corner. So to have a little wooden bench and a shaded tree made it a very nice bus stop. Southbound bus, we did actually take once, although the hotel's so far south, you probably don't need it. We just took it because we were going to a fancy dinner and I wasn't wearing good walking shoes, but it was just right across Coastal Highway. So you do have to cross the highway, but it was right there. As far as what's nearby, again, you're right there on the boardwalk. You're at that point on the boardwalk where like stuff starts happening. There start being like restaurants and shops and things. So actually that leads into noise level because we were right above Hootie's and the Brass Balls Saloon, and I forget the other restaurant that's over there, but like we were right above a number of restaurants and it really was not that loud. We were actually like on the end room of the building, so when you went out on our balcony we looked right down onto those restaurants and it really was not noisy at all where we were. And again, this was off season, so maybe at peak of the summer it's a little noisier there, but for us it was fine. As far as pet policy, I do believe they're pet friendly. I don't recall seeing any or many pets in the building, and they didn't do anything in particular that like stuck out to me, like having areas for them or anything, but I think they do allow pets. And then price wise, I would say this is like middle of the road of, you know, the hotels that I'm speaking about today. So not cheap, not crazy, currently it is my favorite hotel, and it is where I'm looking forward to staying the next time we visit. And finally, we have the Gateway Hotel. We stayed here in September of 2023, and actually it was bike week that week, unbeknownst to us. So the entire city was packed, very busy, even though it was after Labor Day, including this hotel. So I will first of all say we had no problem with the bikers. They were nice, they were fine. The motorcycles themselves were loud and the whole city was loud that week, but the people were fine. They all were like hanging out. This hotel has like a little bit of a lawn in front of it, and so like they lined up all their bikes along the lawn. A lot of the hotel parking was taken up with motorcycles, and there was a lot of just like hanging out on that lawn area, in the lobby, on the balconies. So, you know, keep that, like, take my review with a grain of salt, but I'm not really complaining about that or like the people that were there. So as far as the room quality, it was, again, fine, basic. I was a little disappointed because the balcony was really small, and I think the balconies vary. We were on the top floor and the rooms are almost like dormers, so possibly the rooms on the lower levels have bigger, fuller balconies. This is a really tiny balcony, and it didn't have a sliding door. It just had like a normal door that swings. It actually swung into the room, and it didn't stay open on its own. So the room was like a little musty, and I wanted to prop the door open or leave the door open, and we had to put, I think we put like the trash can in there to kind of prop it open. So that was not ideal. Now, as far as the views, the front side of the hotel will face the next block closer to the ocean. It's 1 block inland from the ocean, so the front side of it will face the ocean side, but it's basically just facing across the street to another hotel or a house. We stayed on the back side of the hotel, which faces like out toward Coastal Highway. It also had a great view of that water tower that is painted like a beach ball, and that also gave us really nice sunset views from that side. As far as amenities, they do have a pool. It was on that sunset side of the building, so I think it stayed a little cooler during the day because of how it was shaded by the building. We did go in there once, but also remember it was September, and so maybe it might have just been chilly, but we did use the pool there. Other than that, just the, you know, the standard stuff, Wi-Fi and mini fridge and everything. Parking, they have parking under the building, which again, because it was bike week, they were like saving that for motorcycles. And then they have this whole lot just right behind the building. So that's where we parked. It was really tight, especially with, I feel like everyone who was there for bike week, if they hadn't ridden a bike, they had a huge pickup truck. So with my little car in there, I was like a little nervous. Luckily, our hotel room viewed right over to the parking lot, so kept an eye on the car. Everything was fine, but again, it was a really tight parking situation, and it was just not the ideal parking. Okay, so Boardwalk Access. This is where things get a little tricky, because on paper, this hotel is at like First Street. Again, the numbers go down as you get further south. The boardwalk gets cooler as you get further south. And there's actually a few streets south of First Street. Once you get beyond First, then they have like names. But so this is like one of the southernmost, you know, places that you can stay. So it looks like it would be really close, like 1 block in and you're at the boardwalk. But you have to cross a really busy road. So again, maybe I'll put up a map, but there's a couple bridges that come into town, and you're basically right across from one of those bridges. That's why it's called the Gateway Hotel, because it's at the like gateway into town. So all the traffic is coming across on that bridge and then turning basically right in front of your hotel. So there is tons of traffic, and it makes it really hard to get across the street to get over to the boardwalk. Or, on to my next point, to get to the bus stop. Same thing, you gotta cross that street. The bus stop is on the other side, and there's just tons of traffic. So you're just stuck there waiting. And again, I don't know if it's because it was bike week. It was just normal traffic, like cars and things, but there's just so much traffic out on the road. It just made it hard to get across that one little street. As far as southbound, I don't think you would take a bus any further south than this. Like the next stop would be you know, the end of the line, like the bus depot. So southbound is not a concern, but to get to that northbound stop is very tricky. Nearby attractions, same thing, because you're not right on the boardwalk, you have to like make a little effort to get over there. What's right in the immediate vicinity is like the inlet and, you know, some things that are like in hotels. But again, to get anywhere like good, you either have to take a bus or get over to the boardwalk. Noise level for us was loud. Again, I'm not gonna 100% blame it on Bike Week because again, you're right there by one of those main bridges into town. So there was just traffic in and out of there all day and all night. So it was very noisy. Now, noisy motorcycles doing the same thing, of course, did not help, but you're in a very high traffic area, which again, when we were planning this, I didn't really consider the location of that bridge and the main entrance into town. So keep that in mind that you're in a very busy area there. Pet policy, I do not think they allow pets at this hotel. And finally, price. It was one of the more affordable ones on this list, but again, between the noise, the balcony, the tricky location for getting to other stuff, I probably would not return to this one. So to recap, my best overall hotel, the one that I would probably go back to, is the Howard Johnson Plaza Hotel. The one that I think would be the best value would be La Quinta. It's got a great breakfast, it's got easy parking, and the bus stop and everything very convenient to that location. The one that is most luxurious, but maybe a little bit frustrating, would be the Hyatt Place. The one that is most beautiful, but least private, would be the Marriott Courtyard. And finally, the most affordable, but the loudest and the least convenient is the Gateway Hotel. So like I said, they each have their pros and cons. I rated these on the things that matter to us and the way that we vacation, but it really depends on what kind of trip you're planning and what you want to prioritize in where you stay. So if you've stayed at any of these places, or if you have a favorite hotel in Ocean City, Maryland that you would recommend, leave it in the comments. I would love to hear about your experiences, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.